Hi, you guys. My name's Nancy Wilson, and I'm here to talk about the acoustic guitar. Now, the acoustic guitar is your best friend. The acoustic guitar is different from electric guitar and any other kind of guitar playing, steel string in particular, because it is the most moody, the most kind of human of all guitar playing, I think. Especially if you play kind of like I do, which is slightly aggressively at times. Classical is much the same, although on the steel string you can get super aggressive and you can really rock on the acoustic. So you can pour all your feelings into it and it tells you how you're doing. Some days it's not in the right mood, some days it is. You know, it's the indefinable it. But today we're going to try to coax some good feelings out of this thing. But first, better tune it up. So here's your E. And your A. D. G. B. And again, back to E. It's always good to play a chord. Make sure you're happening. Well, the first thing I started learning on acoustic was fingerstyle. Imitating, basically, from guys like Paul Simon, who used to play a lot of this kind of stuff. And so kind of basically a good place to start is on a full chord like G or E, kind of pluck the bottom and top string at the same time. And then have your thumb alternate like that. And then you kind of add the other ones in between after you get used to this. And you play this for about an hour, have it down. Of course, when you switch over to a chord like C, your bass note is one moved over. Same deal though. And then of course D or something like that is even smaller. You can just, you know, it doesn't have to be the same every time. But the Beatles used it a lot. In The Sun King. Same deal. I believe that they call that the Travis style, finger picking. So anyway, when you get used to doing that, you know, you sometimes are in a situation where you want it to be louder, and so you might try it with a thumb pick. Some people use those metal dobro kind of picks too that are really great. But you tend to break strings with those if you get too aggressive. So I've sort of adapted that whole thing to the flat pick, which I usually already have in my hand. And you know, just when you're sitting around a campfire, you can never find a thumb pick. So, you know, you can do the same thing. You can add your fingers in. Same kind of deal. And then I took it a little further with a song called Silver Wheels that was the introduction on Dreamboat Annie to a song called Crazy on You. And a lot of people always ask me, how does that go? So it was written with a thumb pick, but it eventually ended up with a flat pick. But I'll start it out for you. It's in A minor. Starts out with a little slide up and a pull-off thing. And a hammer-on, they call it. So that's how it starts. And there's another kind of a tricky Joe Bob there. It's your little finger on the second string pulling off to your first finger on the first fret, and then off, open. Sliding up. And you just it's kind of a clipping rhythm thing. The idea was to have this string going all the way through, which you can't do if your fingers you're using the other strings. But that's the feel you want to try to get. So that's the type of deal you're trying to go for. That's all just variations on the same theme. I never tend to play it the same twice either, which makes it real easy, right? Now what I did right there was harmonics, which is, the length of the string here. You split it in half at the 12th fret with just a light touch. And on the last 4 strings, you can get a really cool sound by doing that. You can hit it kind of percussively on the right hand and really softly with your left hand. You can do that in various positions all up and down the neck, mostly where the dots are. But so anyway, that's something that was just sort of thrown into Silver Wheels. And it goes on. Another good way to use harmonics, you can use it all over the place, really. Like Elton John used it in a really cool way in a song called Madman Across the Water, where he went. And that's just an A minor with kind of a cut off there. You can mute it with your hand. Or both your hands. There's the 12th fret, and that's the 7th fret there. Still, it's these last 4 strings, or the 3 in the middle there. It's a really good use of harmonics. Another really good use of harmonics is in the song called Love Alive. And the introduction to that song has a nice kind of a raga feel guitar bit that goes. So that's a slide up to an A note, which is on your 4th string, 7th fret, next to your open A bass note. And it's kind of nice on an acoustic if you're strong, as you become stronger, to kind of give it a little more personality by kind of pulling it and wiggling it. And that's kind of another hammer and pull at the same time in a row. And then it's slide. So same kind of thing going down the scale. So as this guitar is doing this part, there's another guitar that's doing the harmonics, which is your low E and A strings, and then your open G with your kind of backwards from your G string down to the 4th string on the 4th fret and an open A. So you put that together slowly and it goes. If I had 2 more hands and another guitar, I could do it at the same time for you. And you can add a little strum. And then the next part is a there's, you know, of course, there's another guitar doing the low. And that's just a run down from your 4th string, 2nd fret, E. Sort of a scale thing. Down to your G. And you just, all of this part is only on your bottom 3 strings. 4 strings, I'm sorry. Straight ahead. And the other guitar is going from your 3rd string, 12th fret, little finger. It's a scale, which you all know, right? Then same harmonics as before, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings on the 12th fret, the fret of the 12th fret. Now you're holding the same thing, but it's held down. Now you're putting the chord on it. And you're sliding the whole thing up a whole step. So now I'll put it together for you. At least a half of it at once. like that. Now the next part of the song gets kind of aggressive, and it's a style of acoustic playing that that I'm kind of known for, which sounds kind of like open tuning, but it's regular tuning, where you leave a lot of strings open, mostly your top 2 or 3 strings open. So in this case, it's this chord up here. Your bottom A string's also open. Your top E string's open. So when you slide it up, keep those same strings open. Same with that chord and that chord. So you put that together, it's like. So one of the things I'm also doing here, besides letting all these strings ring out, is letting the bottom E string ring and then muting it. Now let it ring. Open it. Chords too. All those chords, they're all open. That's that open E chord. On your 2nd fret, you kind of bar those 5th and 4th strings together, and with your little finger, you're just holding your G string on the 4th fret too. And so your top 2 are open. Use that chord all the time. Instead of a major or a minor chord, it's just an open chord. So it's real versatile. You can use it anywhere if you're in E. And the next one is even more open notes. It's your 5th fret. 5th string, 5th fret, 4th string, 4th fret, and everything else is open. Plain A major. That's an A, sort of a 7 chord. You see that? That's like an A major way up high, 7th fret. So opening those strings up in a lot of ways gives it a total, unique, almost Eastern kind of sound, I think. Use it all the time in different songs, the chord voicings. I always, instead of just barring an F, I try to open up the top of the chord up on the top strings. If it works in the song, or even like an A major, you can take your little finger off. It's an open chord. It's not major or minor. It goes either way. Same with a B. You don't have to bar it all the way over. You can open up the top strings. Use it all over the neck. Same with that E chord I showed you. a second ago. You can move it all around the neck. Leave those strings open. And it works with, like if you're going to say bar in A major, for instance, same deal. Just open the top of it up. And that works a lot of places. So I really like those open chords. So speaking of open chords, there's another song called Dog and Butterfly that makes a real good use of the open chord idea. And this song is in A, and the chord here is this one. It's almost exactly that same open E chord, but it's, of course, the A bass is your root, and your first finger's on the 2nd fret, 4th string, and your little finger is on the 3rd string and your 4th fret. Everything else is open. And the pattern for it goes. So you're kind of staggering your bass notes there. And then you move to an E chord, which is, again, it's that kind of Travis style thing there thrown in. And back to your Travis style. So what I did right there, going from that A down to the E chord, the note that my little finger holds down here, I used a passing note, went down to a whole step down from that 2nd fret, 3rd string, and then your E chord. So there's a lot of little passing melodies that are kind of entwined in between the chord changes, like you're up on your 4th fret. It's like an A7 chord. And then your F sharp minor, B, bar to B. There's a suspended note with your little finger. Take it off. Then the open chord, take it off again, and then that's a D chord with an open E string, and you're hammering your 4th fret, 3rd string there. And then put it next to it. So you move it over to your 5th string, 4th fret, and slide it up a whole step. So before we put it all together and play Dog and Butterfly, I want to introduce you to this 12 string here. 12 strings are really unique because each string is in an octave, except for the top 2, which are the same. The top two kind of sound like mandolins. It's got a very mandolinish type of sound. But there's a lot of, say, more picking type songs that can really sound great on a 12 string. And if you're accompanying just yourself, it's sort of like having twice the guitar in a lot of ways. Also, there's one other thing. If you put the just the little ones, not the regular ones, but the little ones, on a 6-string guitar and tune it up so that it's just the octave above your regular tuning, that's called Nashville tuning. And on the right guitar, it can sound incredible. It gives you a whole new chimey kind of sound that is just out of this world. So thought I'd mention that before I played Dog and Butterfly for you. Goes on like that. That's the general idea. But what's cool about this song, again, is the open chord thing. This A chord, you can slide it up and down. You can go up to your 7th fret. For the ending of the song, we used to just kind of, you know, hang on the groove and just... So you got a whole cool sort of Eastern-y sounding thing when you have those open chords like that. So here's a new song that kind of incorporates a lot of the different stuff we've just been talking about. It's called The Dragon. Jimmy's on a lifeboat, trying to stay afloat. His hands are in his pocket, his heart is in his throat. Silver flickers by the fire, closing his china blue eyes in the swirling night. Riding on Egyptian rivers, riding where the river takes, riding that river down where the dragon Jimmy, go down where the dragon waits. Jimmy, go down. riding that river down where the dragon waits. Jimmy, go down where the dragon waits. Jimmy, go down where the dragon waits. Jimmy, go down, 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 down. Also, I wanted to tell you guys about another song that's kind of one of our signature heart songs that people ask me so much about, and especially the introduction part of the song called Mistral Wind. The idea for the song was really cool. It was one of those songs you knew you were going to write something about the indefinable it of life, you know, and so we were sitting around, my sister and I, Anne and I, and our friend Sue, who wrote it with us, waiting for inspiration to strike us, as if almost like the way a sailboat waits for the wind to pick it up and take it somewhere. So that's actually how we got started. Like, we feel like we're a sailboat waiting to be taken by the wind. Anyway, the song turned out to be about that, and we called it Mistral Wind. And the words were so cool, I thought that I wanted to write something really unusual for the beginning of the song that takes it from small to big, just like the way a wind would take a boat out to sea. So, real introspective and moody at the beginning. I used like the most dissonant, oddball notes I could come up with, and like this. And that is your 4th fret, bottom string, low E. You go up a half step there, and then the next note is on your 5th string, 3rd fret. So that's a, and now you make a weird chord, leaving that one there. You put the first one back where it first started, and your little finger, which is some kind of weird jazz chord that I don't know what it's called. So the whole thing is, and then you do the same thing a whole step lower, 2 frets down. Which brings you down to your F chord. Which of course I can't just leave it barred, I have to open up the top. And using the vibrato like that kind of helps it not sound as wrong. It makes it sound like you meant to do it. So it gives it some kind of an authority, and it makes it sound more like water. That's the beginning of Mistral Wind. So then the song continues on the F chord, kind of opening and closing, and then an A chord with this finger sort of off and on, take different variations of your fingers on or off the open chord. You just need these two basically to stay on. So you can do different things inside of it. And that's just an A. That's just, you know, one thing, your second finger on the second fret on your fourth string. You could slide it up a whole step, and then a half step, and another whole step.